Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind the Country Chic Cottage. So if you have a Cricut Joy, you might have heard that Cricut released a foil transfer tool specifically for the Cricut Joy machine. So I thought I'd do a video on it just in case you're interested in getting one, wondering what all the fuss is about. Maybe you've never seen a foil tool in action. Well, this video is going to answer all of your questions. So first thing we're going to cover is the Cricut foil transfer kit. So you'll want to make sure to get the one labeled for the Joy because the foil transfer tool inside will be specially sized just for your machine. So be sure to get the one labeled Cricut Joy first of all. Second, it comes with everything you need inside. So it has the foil transfer tool housing, the tip, some foil transfer sheets, and tape that you'll need. But it just comes with two colors of foil. If you want to branch out of those colors, you can buy the Cricut foil transfer sheets. These sheets are for the original foil transfer tool as well as this one. So the foil transfer sheets themselves have not changed, and you can purchase these for your Cricut Joy foil transfer tool as well as your one maybe for your Explorer or Maker if you have it. So now let's take a look inside this box, see what all comes in the package, and then we're going to make some projects. So here is the Cricut Joy foil transfer kit. And I thought we would open it first of all and take a look at what is inside the kit. So you get a start guide, you get the foil housing itself as well as the foil tip, and then some foil sheets. So you get silver and gold as well as some tape for those. So now let's open up this. Now the Cricut Joy foil transfer tool only has one tip. So it comes with the tip as well as the housing. And you just press the plunger on the housing, pop the tip into place, and it is magnetic, so it'll kind of suck it in there. And then just make sure it's in place and this one is ready to go. Then we can just flip down the front on the Joy, open up the clamp, remove the blade, and put the foil transfer tool into place and close the clamp. So it's just that easy to add the foil tool to your Cricut Joy. Now let's look at the other supplies we're going to use for our projects today. So first of all, I wanted to point out that Cricut makes a variety of foil transfer sheets that you can purchase separately. So this size would work best in my opinion, the 4x6 for the Joy, and they have those in a variety of colors. But they also have 12x12 sheets, and you could definitely trim those down, especially if you were making a project that's as large as the Cricut Joy mat. You might want the bigger sheets. And then you can get all kinds of colors, and I'm going to use a variety for 3 projects. The first project I'm going to make is a card, and I'm going to use these insert cards that are for the Cricut Joy, as well as my card mat. The second project I'm going to make are some paper stickers, and I'm going to use the Smart Paper Sticker cardstock that you can cut without a mat on the Cricut Joy. And I'm going to foil and cut these sheets. And then I'm going to make some earrings with faux leather, and I'm going to put this faux leather on the mat. So this way we will use the foil tool on the mat, off the mat, and with the card mat to see what the differences are. So let's take a look in Cricut Design Space at how you make your foil lines. All right, here are our 3 projects. And so I pulled a card into Design Space. So the first thing I wanted to note is that this is right now the foil tool can only be used on desktop computer. So it is not available on mobile devices. So even if you were to design these on desktop, you couldn't use your mobile device to send it to the Joy. So I pulled up the card, and again, we just need the front of the card because we're going to use those insert card kits. And this one has a pin drawing as well as some cuts. So I'm going to pick the pin portion of the design, and I'm going to pull down and pick foil. And then we can change the color. So I'm going to make this out of green foil. Then I pulled the card design and I just sliced away one of the flowers. And I'm going to change that from a cut to a foil. And I think I'm going to use pink foil for this. And I'm going to use a pink cardstock for that to go on. And what I want to do is put these two together. And this is just the pink circle is just a plain pink circle. Then we're going to align, center those up, and attach those together. So now the foil will draw, and then the machine will ask you to switch to the blade, and it will cut the circles. And so I thought those would be cute as envelope seals on the back of the cards because it will match the card itself. Now for our faux leather earrings. So these are leather earrings and there are 2 layers. So we're going to pick this top layer and I'm going to change that to foil. And I think I'll do like a brown leather with gold foil on top will be fine. Now the only thing about doing it this way, let's go here and let's click contour. We will want to remove the contour around like the cut areas, so we'll want to remove those circles and we'll want to remove the very outside edge. So let's see, we'll remove the outside edges and then the circles if we can grab those. So that way it just foils the lines in the center. And so we'll hit the X when we're done. And so now we have the foiled lines and then the cut leather earrings. But we do need to attach those together, so we pick them both and click attach. So now we have our 3 projects. The card will have green foil lines, our stickers will have the pink foil lines, and our earrings will have the gold foil lines. So now we're ready to click make it. So the earrings will be on a mat. This will be on the card mat. And I wanted to do this without a mat, but it's not giving me that option. So my guess is that you can't foil without the mat. So let's pick on mat. Yes, it appears that you cannot foil without the mat. So that smart paper sticker cardstock, I'm still going to use that, but I'm going to just trim it up and drop it on a mat to do this. So that's something to note. When you foil, you will need to put your project on the mat itself. So I think everything else looks good and we're ready to click continue, hook up to our Cricut Joy, and start making. All right, so I have my smart paper sticker cardstock first. Thought we would start there. I went ahead and trimmed a piece off the end and put it on my mat because, like I said, the foil tool won't work apparently when you have the no mat option picked. And I only need this much anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. So what we're gonna do is add the foil to the sheet, but I don't want to ruin my mat, so I'm gonna trim off just the end of this foil sheet. So I'm gonna do a pink on pink for these stickers. And what you want to do is just locate your foil. You'll want to look in Cricut Design Space and see where your lines are going to be and make sure the foil sheet is covering that area. And then what we'll do, I'm going to start up here at the top and I'm just going to grab like the very edge of that foil and I'm going to tape it down to the mat. So I just got just a tiny little piece of the foil. And then what I like to do is go the opposite side next. So I'm going to go to the bottom. I'm going to just get the foil so it kind of jumps up to the adhesive, just the very edge of it. And then we're going to pull it tight and try not to loosen the tape on the other side. So let's try that again. And it's okay if that happens. We're just going to redo the tape on the top. We'll grab just a little bit more of it this time. All right, and now that we have the top repositioned, we're just gonna pull, and I like to do it in the center first, and then pull down as I put the foil down. So you just want it as tight as you can possibly get it. And this tape does come with the foil transfer sheets, and it also comes in the kit that you'll buy that has the foil tool. So you don't need any additional tape unless you just use a ton of tape, which I tape all 4 sides on all of mine and have had 0 issues. If you do run out of tape, I think I would use something like a washi tape, maybe. All right, so now we have all 4 sides really tight. Now it's time to put it in our Cricut Joy. To do that, we're just going to pull this down, and the first thing, so Cricut Design Space is telling me what to do. So it tells me to load my foil transfer tool first, put my cardstock with the foil on top into the machine, and it'll just automatically feed in. And then we just need to press go right in Cricut Design Space to start our foiling. Then once it's done foiling, you'll want to follow the instructions on the screen. So what it says is do not unload the mat, to remove the piece of foil first. So now we can get a sneak peek at what this foiling is going to look like under here. You can see the gorgeous foiling on our sticker paper cardstock. And you'll just want to kind of maneuver this out of the machine. And we are going to remove this foil tool, so we'll get that out of the way. And then once we removed this, we'll just add our fine point blade in and close the clamp. And now the machine is ready to cut. So now we can press go in Cricut Design Space to go ahead and cut our stickers. Then once it's done cutting, you'll click unload in Cricut Design Space to remove the mat. And then once your mat is ejected, we can take a look at these stickers. So this cardstock is adhesive, so it's just cut that top layer. And now you can see that I have some stickers that we can add to the back of our envelopes. So this foil is not going anywhere. It's on that paper and ready to be put onto our envelopes. So now let's make the card to go along with these. All right, so I'm going to use a pink card, purple insert, and we're going to go ahead and use the card mat. So what you do is put your back of your card inside that card mat, push it all the way over and up, and then lay it on the sticky portion of the card mat. So I removed the protective sheet from the front. And one of the tricks to cards is to make sure it's down really well on the mat. You can actually use something like this brayer to do that, or a scraper or something like that. So we're going to make sure it's really well down on the mat. And then again, we are going to use the foil tool to put that in the Cricut Joy. And we want to put our foil sheet over the top. So these foil sheets are a little smaller than the cards. You want to make sure that your foil lines are not outside of that. Mine are sort of right in the middle, so I'm fine. But what I don't want to do is stick my foil to my mat. So I'm going to move it up where it's at the edge of the card. And then we'll just repeat the same process we did before. So I'm going to stick the top. I'm going to grab this bottom, pull it tight, and I'll grab both sides. And one thing to note is you can always readjust. So if I get this last piece on and I still have a hump down here at the bottom, I can just pull this off, readjust, flatten that out. And then when I'm happy with the way this looks, we can put it in the Joy and get ready to foil on top of this card. All right, so we'll just start the card into the Cricut Joy. And now we can click go and allow it to do the foiling. Then once the foiling's done, once again, on the screen, it's ejected it enough that I can go ahead and remove the foiling tool and remove the foil. And it tells you this right in Cricut Design Space. So now we have our foil lines done. And then we'll just drop our blade into the clamp and press go in Cricut Design Space. And now that the cut is complete, it's asking me to unload the mat in Cricut Design Space. So we'll just click unload. And once that's unloaded, we can remove this card from the mat. And we'll just start picking that up. You might use something like a scraper or a spatula to kind of get under there. You just don't want to rip any of the delicate pieces. And then once you've removed it, you just pull the back out, and you'll just need to remove any pieces that are still stuck in the card itself. So I have a few pieces here and there. Then once all those little bits are removed, you're just going to add your insert. So you just add that to all four corners. And you want something that coordinates but is a little contrast so that when we flip this over, you can really see those details pop out, and hopefully you can see that gorgeous foil. And then we would just put it into the envelope and seal it with one of our coordinating stickers that we also made with the foil tool. So now let's move on to some faux leather earrings and see what the Cricut Joy does with those. For this version, I'm going to use the foil that came with the foil transfer kit. So I'm going to use the gold, and I'm just putting the faux leather down on the mat. Now, faux leather says it's not compatible in Cricut Design Space. So what I'm using is a heavy cardstock setting. I'm going to hope it cuts it and transfers the foil okay, but I did want to try this just to see what would happen, because one of my favorite things to do with the foil tool on my Explore and Maker is to add it to that faux leather and make earrings. So we are going to attempt to make a pair of earrings. So we're going to repeat the same process. And then now that everything is down on that mat, it is time to add our foiling tool to the Cricut Joy. So for this, we'll just pull out our blade, add in the foil tool, and then we'll just feed our mat into the Cricut Joy. And then I'm just going to press go in Cricut Design Space and let the foiling begin. Then once the foiling's done, so let's remove that foil tool, and then let's see what happened. It did transfer. It actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and put the blade into the Joy and click go to cut these earrings. And now, before I unload, I'm just going to make sure they're cut all the way through, and they are. And so now I'm just going to press unload in Cricut Design Space. And now let's check out these earrings. So here are the earrings that I cut using my Joy. So what I'm going to do is rub my finger over, and the foil is lifting off of the surface. So my guess is that the Cricut Joy just doesn't have enough pressure to press that foil down into the faux leather in this case. And you can see I can rub off the foil right in that area. So I would not recommend using the Joy, at least, to foil onto faux leather. I have done it successfully with my Explorer, so that would be an option, but I would not recommend the Joy for this type of project. However, we were able to make some cards and some stickers, so I would say that reserve the foil tool for paper only. So I hope that helped you learn all about the Cricut Foil Transfer Tool, and we made a couple successful projects, right? Like I said, I do believe that maybe you should stick with the recommended materials in Cricut Design Space, which are basically all kinds of paper. I did push the foil transfer tool a little bit just to make sure that we couldn't go a little further with it, and it doesn't seem like maybe it has enough pressure to do things like the faux leather. But it does add an amazing touch to your paper projects, especially like I love to use my Joy for cards. So I'm really excited about using this tool for all my cards. Instead of using a pen to draw those details, I'll probably just foil a lot of those on and come up with some really cute designs. So I hope that helped you answer all the questions about the Cricut Joy Foil Transfer Tool. If you have any more that I didn't answer, or you feel like I didn't cover something well enough, please drop down in the comment section and ask away. If you love this video, if it helped you, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos like this all the time, a Cricut video every week, and you don't want to miss any of those. Thank y'all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.